Hello to all my Diversity Matters subscribers. My name is Oscar Holmes IV, and I really appreciate your support. And to show you how much I appreciate your support, as a Diversity Matters subscriber, you get exclusive access to listen to Beyond the Mill, my live diversity dialogues talk show that I created and host on campus at Rutgers University-Camden. Now, because it's a live show and recorded using a different system, the audio quality isn't as consistent at times, but I promise you, the guests and content are great and you'll love the show. Plus, if you're ever in the area, please join us to be a part of our live audience so that you can enjoy, listen, learn, network, and ask our guests questions in real time. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending the live taping for the second episode of Beyond the Mill. I'm so excited to have special colleagues here with me. Patricia Kline, who's an adjunct professor in the School of Business with me, and she teaches, you can clap for her. She teaches business communication, as well as she's a licensed realtor, so thank you so much for being here. We also have David Cheatham, who is also an adjunct professor in the School of Business. He teaches business communication. And he is also the founder and president of Transform Communication, LLC. So if you take a look at the topic of hard conversations, it's no wonder why we have these communication experts here as today's guest. So we're going to talk about a lot of different types of hard conversations. I know the flyer mentioned race, so race is one of the hard conversations that we know a lot of people have. And it's a particularly hard conversation. We could also talk about some categories other than race as well, to see if we get some tips on how to deal with these conversations. So thank you, welcome. Pat and David. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Okay.
What a pleasure. I'm excited. Thank you for inviting us. I'm really excited about this. I really want to thank you, Dr. Williams.
Great, you know about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome.
So before we start, I'd like to just keep it light and ask if you can kind of share with the audience how people can find you on campus. They want to find you.
Well, I do not have a office per se, but we do have a part-time lecturer office on the 4th floor in the business school. And also, you can reach me at pkline@camden.rutgers.edu.
Exactly. You can sometimes find me in the PTL office as well, and my email is david.cheatham, CHEATHAM.
Great. So keep in mind, David, we'll start with you. Tell us, how did you come here to Rutgers? What was your journey here?
Well, my journey to the Northeast began with a relocation to the Philadelphia area to support the TiAira at GSK. So I was communications lead for the IT organization at GSK, and I brought to the Northeast for the first time to live full-time here. And I wanted to continue my teaching because I've taught on and off throughout my career, and I wanted to find the right kind of institution that was both rigorous academically, but also research, with an emphasis on teaching, because my background is in organizations and institutions with heavy teaching emphasis. And so when I found Rutgers, I was excited. It's been a great fit, and this is my 10th year on the faculty.
I'm a native of Philadelphia, but was raised in a little town called Chiselhurst here in New Jersey, a little below Atco, above Hamilton. And I actually was teaching, once I got my MBA, I was teaching at Drexel University, where I did get my MBA from the go. And they had made some changes, and I was referred to someone here to teach here at Rutgers University. So in Camden, and I'm excited about it. A lot of people that are graduated from my previous high school, I know a lot of their family members, so I'm able to make some impact on their life.
Great. So we are definitely excited and happy to have you both here talking with us. You're phenomenal. I failed to mention that in addition to the communication course that Pat teaches here, she's also the advisor for our Toastmasters group on campus. So could you, for people who may not know what that is, can you kind of explain to audience what Toastmasters is and how people can get involved with that?
Toastmasters is an international organization that teaches you how to communicate, but also leadership skills. It's known all over the place. Matter of fact, Oscar, our students went to South Africa and they saw certificates on the wall for their Toastmasters, people that participate. We meet every Tuesday in room 109 in the business school during free period. And you're more than welcome. We're looking, recruiting. It's not just for students, but it's also for faculty, anyone that's works for Rutgers. We would love to have you so that we can help you, teach you the number one skill that's out there, and that's being able to communicate. Companies are looking for that. I actually had an opportunity to look at some of the applications that companies are looking, what they're requiring, and that is the number one skill, the soft skill, is being able to communicate, and we would love to help you polish your communication skills.
So one of the assignments that my students have to do, so my students are here now, is the current event presentation. So they have to make a 5-minute presentation of the current event. But part of that's because, pitching ideas is a very important skill. So you can, be really intelligent, but if you really fail to communicate well, your intelligent idea may, fall to the wayside to a less intelligent idea that hurts your company in the long run just because of the communication difficulty that some people have. And I understand, people are afraid to speak publicly, but Toastmasters is a great organization to practice hone those skills. When I was in grad school, I was a member of the Toastmasters Club in Tuscaloosa, so I made it through the first speech. I wish I could have had more time to devote to it. So let's go deeper now and get into the nitty-gritty of why we're here in terms of hard conversations. So can you share some hard conversations perhaps you had, and what made it hard for you? Either personal or professional.
Well, one of the hardest conversations I have when it comes to teaching is to be able to communicate with the students that they're not doing a great job. They don't want to hear that they're not doing a great job. So I teach in my class that there are ways that you can present it. You either can go a direct way or you can go an indirect way. And because it's something that someone may resist, I always teach the students in business communication, you want to use an indirect way, meaning explain why they're not going to get a great grade or why they're not doing so great. And then be able to talk to them and tell them that they are not doing well in your class. It's easier to accept if you explain it first than to come directly and just say it out. You're not doing a great job here. There are certain people that, I always tell my students, it's who you're speaking to. It's their language, not your language. Now, I'm a direct person, so when people speak to me, I want them to come in a direct way. Tell me what you want. Otherwise, I'm standing there going, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then, for example, my husband is an indirect person, and I had to learn. I couldn't figure it out. I was always talking to him in a direct pattern, and he just was pushing back. He wasn't responding the way I wanted him to respond. So I had to change my way of approaching him and speak to him. I kind of love on him first before I ask what I want. And so otherwise, if you're direct, I might ask what I want and then maybe love on you. So I had to do that to him. I actually had to change my way of speaking and speak his language. So now I'm saying things, loving things first before I'm asking, instead of just asking things and being so direct. We have to consider the other person because the message is for the other person. The message is not for the sender, the speaker. The message is for the receiver, the audience. And if they don't get it, then we really haven't done a great job in communicating. So we really must consider the receiver first. So those are the difficult things that I have experienced.
Exactly, and as Pat just said, it begins and ends with the audience. And knowing your audience and adapting. We want to use business communications, which of course is required here, continue to appreciate them. conversations I'm involved with on the corporate side are, yes, the L word, layoffs. I was involved with a large multinational organization. I helped to bring on board the organization, 40,000 employees over X number of years. That's an interesting conversation in itself. Growth is exciting, but it's also challenging and can be difficult. The good and bad news is that I was involved in the layoff of 40,000. And being able to have that conversation and say, your life is going to change today. The life you have when you walk in my office is not the life you're living when you get out and you walk away from my office. That is as tough as it comes on the professional side. And to Pat's point, it's one good strategy is that indirect approach, is to recognize the accomplishments, the achievements, to recognize that this person who was highly sought after when they came on board a couple of years ago and was told they were the best of the best, or they wouldn't be working for us, is now no longer part of the group. And why? Because adults always need to know. Why? I tell my students, I know you do too, when you come into class, you should always say, Professor, why are we talking about this today? And the answer is not because it's in the textbook. So you as adults always should be asking, why do you think this is important? And then, of course, on the job, why is this happening, and so forth. So, again, the indirect method is one of the strategies to do that. I'm just going to put it out there that a very different conversation has to do with that layoff. If someone's employment status is changing for whatever reason, I'm happy to do that.
So both of you mentioned how difficult it is to receive feedback, or we can call it criticism. But feedback is really important for development. So I want to stay on performance feedback, whether it's an employee or student, but bring in the added complexity when it's cross-identity groups, because that can become pretty challenging because of all the other considerations, say white, black, Hispanic, black, white, whatever, because there's real status differences, and so there's a concern that perhaps it may not just be our performance, right? It could be some prejudices. So how do you approach those types of conversations when there could be some other thoughts in people's minds, some legitimate, some may not be legitimate, right? Can you just talk to us about some strategies to perhaps use and what you consider in those conversations?
So one very insightful large research project to start chipping away at this, Oscar, is Project Aristotle. Project Aristotle was a multi-year project by Google to basically get at the aspect of what makes an effective team. Because you always ask that question. What makes an effective team? And it wouldn't surprise anyone to know that effective teams and communities and pairings, the triads, has to do with trust, building and sustaining. One of the fundamental concepts that came out of Project Aristotle is the idea of psychological safety. That teams and organizations, campuses, institutions need to create organizational safe spaces where you have a safe space of safe psychological area, where you can be in conflict of ideas, where you can bring up those hard conversations. Now, that is not going to happen if you don't start building that type of psychological safe space. When those pain points come and that hard conversation comes, it's going to be metal on metal because you haven't done that work. But we do know that is an effective long-term process. It can start today, anywhere in the organization. So to start kind of that conversation of knowing where those biases are, and being able to create a place where anyone can bring up that hard conversation because it's part of the corporate culture or part of the organizational culture. I think that's the beginning.
Well, I would say to people, when we have issues, don't come to me complaining. I'm always looking for a solution. And I tell my students this all the time. When you have a problem, something, I encourage everyone to come in with a solution. But some of the things that we do when we don't like what someone is saying to us, we get emotional. We need to relax, and that's what I encourage the students not to get emotional. Because when you get emotional, you say things that you regret. And you can't take words back. I know when we were growing up, and I don't know if Oscar definitely is not in my age group, but when we were growing up, we used to say, sticks and stones will break our bones, but names will never hurt us. And that's not true. Names hurt. Words take on life. So I always try to encourage my students and people, be careful of the things that you say to people, especially when you're emotional. Take a deep breath, step back, and think about it before you say it. Because a lot of people, they just get so emotional and start rattling off things, and then they say, I'm sorry, but those words are out there. And so I encourage everyone to just take a deep breath. When you have a concern, come with a solution instead of, because if you don't, what's happening is you're labeled a complainer, a whiner, a murmurer. You don't want to be. You want to be labeled as someone, because corporate America will see you as a sharp individual if you have solutions. That's how jobs are created, from solutions. So if you have some, they create jobs. They find problems that you have in corporations, and you come up with solutions. There's a position for you. So I encourage my students and other people to think about it before you say it, because you might want to reword it, because everyone's culture is different. You know, we all are human beings in here, but everyone's culture is different, and you want to make sure that it's appropriate.
So, what if the solution, keep it a student, my solution is, I wasn't able to get this examination on time and I got a bad grade, so just change my grade. That's the solution. Yeah, there you go.
No, that's not the solution. That's what I said.
So is there a framework that you want to give people in terms of how they think through solutions? Because, again, like that would be the solution on their end.
Well,
just change the grade one more time.
That is, but every solution that you give, you should learn something from it. So when they come in there giving me solutions, they talk about how maybe they should have prepared or started the lesson earlier and gave themselves more time. Maybe even in being honest. You have to be honest with yourself. And that is, maybe they didn't start the project early enough. Maybe you gave them enough time. And that's, to be honest, is the state come out and say, I didn't start the project, I know I was wrong. People have issues at times, things do happen, but as long as you acknowledge something and you can change it, because this is what we're all here for, is to learn, so we don't make the mistake again. So I don't have a problem, and yes, I do sometimes, and my students know I give them a chance to do it over and over and over again, but as long as we're learning something in the process, we're not here to beat you down, we're here to edify you, to bring you up. As long as you can come up with something that's realistic. Now that's unrealistic. I'm not going to change your grade. I may give you another chance, but I'm not going to change your grade.
David, same question in terms of particularly like cross-identity, where there's bias or things.
Sure. Well, I'm reminded of a couple of weeks ago we had community standards week, and we had a unity lab. And I think about that community standards for our campus now, campus system, should, of course, be part of the classroom experience. And I know that Pat wants to go through this, have standards for conduct, to the syllabus. I also contract with all of my students to sign a memorandum of understanding about how the team projects are going to run, about roles and responsibilities, and we literally all sign it. I sign it as the faculty member / CEO of the organization, and the students sign it, and that is made very public. So I think, again, the beginning of as Pat said, stripping out the emotion of the conversation and getting into the output the action statement is to start with what are the standards we agreed to at the beginning of this interview.
So, both of you talked about psychological safety and building trust. One of the ways that we know can help people build trust is to try to find commonality with others, something that you have in common that you can kind of create this superordinate identity. Can you give us some other tips and strategies, guidelines of how you try to build trust with others? Particularly, again, when you have these cross-identity relationships that are really hard. For many people, think about friendships. One of the things that put a lot of, if you're talking about race conversations, one of the first retorts that white people say, well, like, I have a black friend, right? So that black person is like a friend to all these white people around. And so we know it's not true all the time, but it's like a defense. How do you really build those cross-identity relationships and friendships and building that trust? Because trust is fundamental.
I encourage each and every one to come out of your boat and get into someone else's boat. Get to start asking questions because a lot of people are afraid to ask people questions. You need to start asking questions and learning other people's culture, other people's way of living. I encourage that all the time, and I teach that in the business communications, is that we get to know each other in the groups. Just in group projects, we're all different. Maybe you're an early riser and somebody else likes to sleep in late. There's some major differences. Some people are celebrating other holidays when you want to do a project on someone else's holiday. We have to get out of self. I think that we're all about self, and really start to learn about someone else and get to know them and get to understand what makes them happy, what makes them, as we would say, tick, what makes that person survive, what motivates that individual, and look to help others besides always helping yourself. My husband and I always say to him, I please you, you please me, we're both pleased. That's how we think, and you have to start thinking that way. And I think you'll see a better life. I think you will get along with people. You have a better teamwork, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to work with that. I don't want to work in teams. You have to. It's a different culture. Even in the class, Oscar, that we teach, we know that people in different countries love to work as groups. And they're right here sitting among us today. They love to work in groups. And then here in America, we're known to want to work as individuals. So you're working with people that are from all over the world, that wants to work as a group, and you want to work as an individual. You're going to have to learn to get along. You're going to have to learn to sacrifice a little. You're going to have to learn, as I said, come out of your boat and get into someone else's. Learn about them and not always about you.
Exactly. And you just touched on this, but one of the key ways to learn from other people and with other people, of course, is to team with them, to have a project that has some commonality, some common product. And that's why, as much as you mentioned, students can say, gosh, I don't want to be in this team. I'll just do my project. Give me a special assignment to do for that grade, and I'll be happy. I'll show up and do 15. That's good. And again, a pushback, and part of that is to say, when you talk about diversity and strength in diversity, and you see this in our teams, in our project teams. You might love Excel spreadsheets. You may love it. You may love Photoshop. Or you may despise those things because you don't know anything about working those apps. But you like to write something. You like to make a presentation. You like to choreograph something. So isn't it great that you can have team members who not only have that expertise, but really love doing that? Isn't that what our life all around us is? There are people, they're the kind of walk of life and background out there that we can tap into, so we don't have to know all of it. Why should we know? I mean, to me, again, I bring that post-grad experience. But that's why, again, the value of teamwork. So to add on to the comments, I would say if you're not already in a group, or a Toastmaster or another, you're being exposed to other people, and their skills and their approach to life to do that. It's no other reason than their selfishness, and that is that you are putting the strengths that they have. You can play to your strengths like them play to theirs, and together, of course, it is a stronger approach. You know that group decision making, though it's slower, is better in the long run. So, all heavy research in all these areas, it begins by saying, okay, look, I know that I can add something to what you can do. And that's why also, first day of class and all my classes, I said, everyone in this class wants you to succeed. And I have all my students present every day. They present every day in class. And a lot of my students said that is the biggest factor they get out of it, and that becomes so early. Right. And I say, we all want you to succeed. And even if it's from a selfish perspective, because those other students don't want to see you be bored or be restless for 75 minutes. You know, we all want to be entertained and enlightened in some way. So yes, we want you to succeed. This gets back to that positive environment that we're creating.
So I'm going to open it up to questions, but I'm going to give you time to think about the questions from the audience members. I'm going to leave you with the question about you all think about the questions you want to ask, I guess. So even though you are experts, you have experts in all of the states. So can you share with us some communication mistakes you may have had with people, and what was the context around that? So while they think about that question, you all think about the questions that you would like to ask them as well.
Well, beyond the obvious time that I wrote a major project and I misspelled the word communication. So that's an occupational hazard, and I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. I think I will say this. I took on a client a number of years ago, and in the initial engagement and getting to know each other, again, laying that foundation of trust and hope in that culture, I heard the key decision maker say, I told that client, I said, the most effective way that we can work together and I can add value is to build a relationship. And I think that there's a word that spans this whole discussion, is relationship. And I said, so I really want to have that good relationship with you and your customers and so forth. That is close to my strength. That's more value I can add. I'm excited about the opportunity. And the client said, we operate in a transactional world. We believe in transactions. And I heard the word, but I didn't want to hear it because I wanted to do that gig. I wanted that engagement. I was excited about it. And I said, and I also part myself into believing that I could come to that organization and change the culture and make it more relation-based. You know what? I didn't succeed. And that affected all the communication products I have. That affected all of our meetings. Did we get work done? Sure. Was it good work? Yes. But it wasn't something that neither party was particularly happy about it. We didn't enjoy the work we were doing. And that taught me a lesson in my career, and that is to not make those assumptions that if there is going to be a disconnect, let's address it up front. Perhaps the best thing I should have done would be, hey, you have a transactional culture and I want a relationship culture, maybe we will change the engagement or I'll find someone else to work with you. So that is a mistake that I did learn from.
I think my biggest issue would be, and has been, and I'm still working on it, because communications never stops. It's an ongoing process that you're working with, and that is stepping back, having a disagreement, and stepping away from it. I always felt like I had to retaliate, respond right away, and we are always taught never to respond when they're angry. And I just couldn't get it. I was like, no, they're going to hear me. You're going to hear what I have to say. I listened to what you had to say. And I didn't step back from it. And I kept doing this, and I kept doing this, and I kept doing it. It was almost like I kept hitting my head against a brick, and kept hitting against a brick. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do today, because I've experienced it all. I've said things that I wish I could have taken back. I've been angry and should not have said things. I'm so thankful that I did not put things in writing that could have been used against me in the future. But I mean, it's an ongoing process, and this is really something that I try to tell my students. They probably think it's just I'm going through the book. No, this is a lifestyle, ongoing life project of mine is to become better, a better communicator. And that means a listener. I need to listen. See, because when you're retaliating, you're really not even listening to what the person has said to you. You are so concentrating, and this was me, I was so concentrating on what I was going to say to you versus what you just said to me, that I really didn't get it. And I didn't address what they said. I could care less what they said. I had to do a truly transformation. And I think this whole teaching business communication has helped me transform what I have been doing because I'm really passionate about it. And I see a major difference. So not only am I teaching the students, but I'm teaching me. I'm going through this process. And it's been great. It really has. And I believe that the students are hearing my heart. And it's not because it's a book that I'm going over with you and I'm teaching you. It's a lesson that I'm going through also with you. And it's been good.
Right. We have questions from our audience members. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you guys are having a conversation, how do you guys change the conversation or handle yourselves when the other person comes to you?
I try to find something that we have in common.
Let me just repeat the question so that in case I won't get it. So the question was, if you're having a difficult conversation and the other party's getting emotional, how do you handle that person's emotion? And I'll add on, particularly if it becomes aggressive, if they turn the heat a little bit on you, how would you suggest handling that conversation?
I try to find something that we have in common, something that we agree on, to really concentrate on. But once it gets out of control and I have no control, I have to shut it down. I really do. I have to shut it down. And I have to, and I always say in my class, you're free to speak. Yes, you are. You're free to disagree, but you're not free to be disagreeable. We're not going to shut people down. We're not going to be rude to people and disrespect people. So you have to set that tone. And I always try to, in my class, I start and create, like David said, a positive environment by having my students, they share, first of all, number one, anything that's positive in their life or current events. And most of my students come up and they talk about something that has happened to them that has been positive. So I think it has a lot to do with the way you set the atmosphere. If you allow students to do anything they want, or people to do anything that they want, then that's when you create that atmosphere to allow that to take on ownership. I try to create something positive, but if I have to, we change the subject. I just pivot to something else that we can discuss that's more positive. And I say, you have your right to feel the way you feel, and that person has their right to feel the way they feel. Let's move on.
Exactly. One thing to have that disengagement or stepping back is to say, I honor your position and I respect you and what we're doing too much to let our emotions get the best of us at this point, so that you visit this and we can talk about the facts of the situation.
So one of the cases that my students go over in my class is a discrimination case. And there's a manager and there's two employees, and they have their perspectives over what's going on. One employee wants the other employee to leave the team. So I will also say to aid in perspective taking, so take the other person's, perspective and idea where they are, and to realize some conversations are emotional, right? And emotions can be positive in that sense. If you think about how to persuade people, right? If you give them a speech like emotion that you really need, think about President Obama, like the speeches you get, Nelson Mandela, like you want to persuade and influence people's emotions, right? That's good. But if you think back to, okay, what's the conversation you're having, and would a reasonable person be upset with the conversation, right? And you probably like, yeah, I can kind of see why this conversation would be upset. If I'm experiencing discrimination and talking to managers, like, I would probably be upset as I'm having this conversation. It would be emotional, right? So if you do that, it kind of reframes your view. It's like, oh, okay. And then you can say, like, I can understand, that this is an emotional topic, and I can understand why you're upset. This is what that does to me, though. And then what's your desire from that point? I understand where you're coming from, but I kind of get intimidated or it shuts me down if you respond to me this way, or if we have this conversation this way. Can we talk about this in different format? And I think people are more receptive if you say that you kind of understand and respect where you're coming from. You recognize that, yeah, like this is a situation where anger is an appropriate reaction, right? So that's a tip that I give you. Courtney and then Octavia.
How do you approach a conversation where one side of the person wants to avoid the conflict, but someone else wants to have a solution and resolve?
So how do you, if someone's trying to actually avoid conflict, but you want to get to the solution now, how do you have that conversation?
So I would say it's about the objective or the goal that you might have set in that scenario. If the other person doesn't want to engage on your terms, then I think it's fair to say time out. What does it take to advance the agenda, to get this action taken? If you want to take an action, the other person is reticent to do that. It doesn't really have accountability. Is that the sort of scenario you're thinking about?
Yeah, I think normally I like to avoid conflict. Other people want to resolve things before I avoid conflict.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Pat's talked about her husband a couple times. I can tell you that my wife is a classic person who likes to vent, and what she gets mad at me is I think the male view, she really gender. I think that's another conversation. But I think the male view, I want a solution. If someone comes to me and says, "There's a problem here," my first reaction, my starting position is, "Hey, let's solve it." But I learned early in our relationship, and this goes to all of our relationships in life, there are people who want to vent, and they might not want to take any action, but they want to listen. And you may be the other person you're talking to, then maybe a person who says, "Oh, then you told me this is a problem, so let's go and get this done." But you don't want that for whatever reason, or vice versa. But I think that's legitimate. And I think it's legitimate to say, "Hey, let me have my opinion. Let's hear me out," because that's a therapeutic process in itself.
As David said, some people, like you said, they just want to be heard. They just want you to listen to them. I know my husband, I don't know if this is a male thing, but he wants me to listen to him, but he doesn't want me to give him advice. Does everybody understand? Yeah, he just wants to listen. He wants me to listen to him, but he doesn't want me to give him advice. And that's hard, because my personality wants to give advice. I'm sorry. And I want to tell him how to fix it. He doesn't want me to tell him how to fix it. He just wants to give me your ear, and let me just tell you. And it's been hard. So you have to understand the person, even though you may not want to listen, or you don't want to address it, but consider the other person, not you. Consider the other person. That's all they might want you to do for you is to listen to them. And it's okay. Because people need to have someone to talk to. And you may be the only person that they want to talk to. They don't want to hear you giving advice at all back to them. So I would say start to give your ear to some people. But on the other end, too, you don't want to address confrontation. What happens is if you don't listen, then it becomes a heated discussion. Now there's major confrontation because all you have to do is maybe take a minute of it, and you didn't want to take a second of it. And that's all they want is to vent something or say something to you and prevents confrontation. Yeah.
So So a lot of people are like you. They want to avoid conflict. I've done some research on the benefits of avoiding conflict, or rather the disadvantages. And what I found in one of the studies that I published was that people, if they did try to avoid conflict, it made the situation just worse for them in the long run. And they became more burned out because they were trying to, this was an employee supervisor situation, right? So they were trying to find ways to avoid supervisor because they didn't want to deal with conflict. And that just used cognitive resources, more cognitive resources than they needed, and it actually made them burn out even more. So they weren't getting the feedback that they should have gotten from the supervisors. They were avoiding the supervisor. But two, it spread them out even more because they had to try to plan their day around not seeing this person. So think about, the reasons why you were triggered and not even wanting to avoid conflict, right? To try to work on some of the strategies to help you. Is it you feel panicky, right? You perspire and things like that. And you have to do what astronauts do when they train, right? To put yourself in simulations where they're safe for you to kind of manufacture like fake conflict, have those conversations with people. And then when you're in a real situation, it becomes more comfortable because you practice it so much. But avoiding conflict, if it's a small thing, right? Like going to dinner or a movie or whatever, clearly like, okay, yeah, I'm not part of you. Don't fight the battle. That's one thing. Like really choose battles, right? So if it's a small thing, you don't have to worry about it. You avoid it. But if it's bigger issues, things that will come up often, whatever, even though it's hard, recognize that it's hard, those are the type of conflicts that you want to take them on. Because as Pat said, they become much bigger later on. What's happening?
Yes, we talked about how to handle a situation when the other person is getting emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But for the audience here, as well as myself, we are going to be future employees or future members of the workforce. And most likely we're going to be the one getting feedback or getting a review at the end of the year. How can we prepare for a conversation like that so that we don't get emotional? I mean, it happens and you find yourself getting emotional in the middle of a conversation with a manager or a boss. How do you exit that conversation and how do you change your mentality?
I would advise people in a scenario like that concerning job reviews or performance reviews. If you give that scenario, I'm the type of person that I'm going to ask some questions before I have a performance review. I want to know how am I doing, and I'm going to be asking what can I do so that I will have a better performance review. So you're going to have to ask some questions of your manager so that it's not a shock. If you're not surprised when you have your performance review and it's not the best, or you're not surprised because it is the best, because you've asked questions all along. Where am I? Where do I need to be? See, I'm the type of person that I'm going to set a goal, but I need to know what kind of strategies I have to put together to obtain that goal. Well, if they've set a goal for you, you're going to have to come up with some strategies on how you're going to achieve them. And you need measurements. They need to be able to tell you or you ask the question, where am I in relation to my strategies that I put together, to my goals, my little short-term things, to get to the bigger picture? And that's what you should already know. You should already know where you are. So, but if you're getting emotional behind something like that, I would probably tell my manager, is it okay if we address this at a later date? I need to gather, maybe you need to gather some information prior to going and talking to your manager. I always say to everyone, be proactive versus reactive. Bring your things together. And if I'm in a performance review, I'm going to have everything that I've done with me. Everything that I've accomplished, every letter that they've sent me that said you've done a great job, I have that in my portfolio with me. So when we're talking and he's saying you didn't do this, I'm pulling out stuff. This is me personally. I'm always documenting things. I want to know what I've achieved. So I always try to keep a portfolio of things that I have accomplished. But if I'm getting emotional because I don't agree with that individual, I'm stepping away from it. Because I know me, I'm going to say something that I'm going to regret. And it's not going to help the situation, it's going to make the situation worse. So I'm going to end the conversation and come back another day. Before I leave, though, I'm going to set a date. We'll find out the time and the date we can pick this up. It's not going to hang open. We're going to put closure to this.
I think it's important for them to know that they have the ability to end the conversation, even if it is with a higher individual in the company. Because sometimes you feel that you have to take it, even if you don't have what you need or anything out of it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I would put the two S's out there, and that is, talk about standards earlier, standards and structure. The standards of that organization, about what that process looks like, what that conversation should be like, and the structure. What should that be? What is the template and that sort of thing? And but to Pat's point, you should never fall into the trap of an arbitrary amount of time. Well, this is a 30-minute conversation, so in 29 minutes, wrap it up. Now, this is your career. It's also the career of the manager. So it's certainly fair game to reschedule, to add to it. Something that's a good for the organization. But again, structure and standards. And if you don't have either of those, you should be proactive. We speak that a lot today, and suggest to your management team, to your organization, this is a best practice in another organization. How do we conduct these reviews? How do we have these critical conversations on the job? Some will appreciate that, and some won't. The ones who do appreciate that will hire you for other engagements, and will have that implemented in your back pocket for the next time. Do you have another question?
So I was curious to know what advice would be like in your community to be communicating with someone who has like authority. So there's been times where I felt like someone in authority was like disrespecting me based on the position that I was in, and they could get away with it because they had authority in that situation. But I've also found that if I try to like say like what they're doing, like I feel like you're disrespecting me, they feel like I'm challenging them. So like how do I go about that situation? Because at the same time, they don't want to hear it.
So how do you deal with a situation where there's a status that was organized and it's disrespectful?
That's one thought I have on the education side. It is always professional to go to the faculty member and say, how can I improve this? I was evaluated in such a way on this assignment, and I disagree. That probably was the most common thing. You put in this sort of effort, you think you follow the rubric, etc., and you're not evaluated the way you would expect it to be. Someone else is evaluated in different ways. And you want to challenge it, and you feel that you've got the case there, but you don't be disrespectful. You don't want to, as Pat said, become a whiner in the class either. But I think any professional, faculty or otherwise, should be able to answer that question. What can I do to improve? Not so much challenging your evaluation, which can be subjective. And in academia, it often is subjective. But to say genuinely, I'm here to improve. Show me what it takes. If that faculty member is not equipped to do that conversation, then you think you need an advisor for some other resources as well, because genuinely we need every faculty member to answer that question. So, and that is professional, and it's right.
So I think if we use a professor-student example, I think she was asking from the standpoint the professor was being disrespectful to her. She felt that the professor was being disrespectful to her in the conversation. So as a person who has no power in that situation, how could she deal with that situation?
Well, my advice to you would be always respect. Even if they're being disrespectful to you, you always respect authority. But if it can't be resolved between you and that individual and they're saying things and treating you a certain way, then I would involve probably his advisor or his supervisor. I would have a three of us sitting down and having a conversation. And I would be expressing that so that maybe his boss can bring some closure to it. Because you've already addressed it, you've already expressed that that person was disrespectful. You've gone to him first, because that's the first person that you would have that conversation with, would be the one that's disrespecting you. And then if it did stop at that point, I would take it to a higher, because the person above him is going to ask you, did you sit down and talk to him yet? Does he know that he's disrespecting you? So you want to make sure that you do everything that you have to do. Go to that person first, expressing the respect that they're showing to you. If it doesn't resolve there, then you go to his boss and address it, and maybe his boss can bring all three of you together and put it into this. Because no one should be disrespecting anyone at all. There's no way that a person, you could be productive in a job with someone disrespecting you. There's no way. And you as his worker, and you're reporting to him, he wants you to be productive. How can you be productive if someone is disrespecting you? And I would put it back to him. I said, I want to be productive, but we have a problem with us communicating. You're talking down to me. And if it doesn't change, go on. You always go up the ladder. Am I correct? You always want to take authority. You should.
You're contextual, right? It depends. So, just following up to that, what David and Pat was saying, one of the ways you can address the situation, to use this common phrase, the problem wasn't your intention to say this, but it came across to me whatever the disrespect was. That's the way I felt it. It probably wasn't your intention, right? So you kind of like giving them an out, because people want to say the face. People don't want to be embarrassed as well. And they may not have recognized that they were being disrespectful, even though you felt disrespect. So that's like a phrase you can use. I don't think it was your intention to put me down, but when you said this is how I think you feel. So now what's your thought of that? In the future, could you, use this type of language or say things in this other way? That is tactic to be used. We have time for one more question, and I think that's all your hand. So from our research about abusive supervisors and feedback avoidance, what we found was that employees were more effective if they addressed the situation, so they had to have that hard conversation with them. And if the way they addressed it wasn't productive, then the best thing was for them to find a new place. So either you can try to move out of the department or get a new job. And that's sometimes the hard part. So if your relationship is not improving, particularly if people have those alliances and there's nowhere you can go, people break that semester outright, right? Because it's a class, it's a semester class, and then you won't have to deal with the rest anymore. But if it's a job situation, you have to try to find a way to transfer, or you can just find a job. Because if you have a bad relationship with your supervisor and that cannot be changed, that's going to be a hard road for you. That's going to be it.
And Oscar, I also say to people, when you're looking for a job, they may want to hire you, but you should also want to work for them. A lot of people are taking positions and jobs because the people are saying you're wonderful and they're going to offer you all this money. But when you go on an interview, you're interviewing them just like they're interviewing you. So don't just take anything. You can see how people treat you, even in the interview, and you know that you don't want to work for that organization. So you're interviewing that organization also. If It's not this they're interviewing you. You better ask some questions and make sure, is there a fit for us, for me to be in this organization?
So the conversation doesn't end here, but we are out of time. So please join me in thanking my guest, David Cheatham and Prof. I hope to see you next month in this spot where we talk about effective allyship with Mary Daisy and Patrick Wallace. So thank you so much again, and let's continue the conversation after this is over. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Beyond the Mill and for being a Diversity Matters subscriber. If you enjoyed the show and want to hear more, please post, talk about, and reshare our show with all of your friends and family. And leave us a favorable review so that it will make it easier for others to find us wherever they listen to podcasts. We cannot do this important work or keep it going without you, so we really appreciate your support. Beyond the Mill is produced by me, Oscar Holmes IV, and TiAira Neal, and receives generous support from Rutgers University-Camden's Office of Diversity Inclusion and Office of Student Affairs. Diversity Matters is produced by WH Consulting, a firm that provides a wide range of management consulting and professional services to individuals and organizations. Original music produced by Sincere Morton Murray. Until next time, peace and love.